Today we're talking about the 8 basic hardwares and softwares that you're going to need to know to get started on your audio producing journey. After we cover the basics, I'll give you my #1 trick for getting a great sounding mix no matter your environment. Welcome to TXMG. We're here to help you with mixing, mastering, and a variety of other audio techniques. If you're just getting started on your audio journey and are aspiring to be a musician, engineer, producer, or something of the sorts, but you're overwhelmed with how much information you need to know, I get it. I've been there. We've compiled lists of the best equipment, software, and processes to make your learning experience as smooth as possible. In this video, we're going to talk about the 8 most essential equipment, gear, and processes that you're going to need to know to get started. Now, if you've been working with sound for a while and want to dive a little deeper than this video on audio-related topics such as mixing or mastering, check out our page and stay tuned. We'll be doing mixing tutorials with our head engineer, Tim, but this video is more for getting started in the beginning stages. Now, without further delay, #1, a computer. A computer is going to be necessary for your mixing and mastering needs. Now, you don't need a supercomputer for this, but you do need one with enough power and storage to process and save those audio files. If you already have a computer, great. There's a good chance it'll be enough for what you need. However, if you're looking into purchasing a computer, I would just recommend something with recent CPU, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and enough storage for those plugins and audio files. #2, software. Now, there are actually 2 components of software that I want to talk about that you'll need to know. #1 being a DAW. Now, the term DAW is going to be something that you hear a lot in the industry. It's short for Digital Audio Workstation. It's the software that you're going to use on your computer to mix, master, and edit your audio files. Now, a lot of the DAWs do pretty much the same thing. There's a lot of debate on which ones are better, but really you just need to get started and learn one. Some DAWs only work with certain computers, such as Logic with Mac. My best recommendation would just be choose a popular one and run with it. It's more important that you learn one DAW well, and once you learn one well, you're pretty much going to be able to apply a lot of that information into whichever one you switch over to. The second piece of software that you're going to need to know are software instruments. Now, these instruments are pre-installed into whichever DAW that you choose, so you can get started trying them out right away. Mess around with a bunch of different instruments. It's really fun. You don't need to be a trained musician to play these, and you now have the resources to pretty much put any instrument on a track yourself. It's pretty cool. Next, you're going to need an audio interface. This interface is what connects your mic or instrument to your computer. How the interface works is that it takes an analog signal from a vocal or an instrument through the analog to digital converter, or ADC, into a digital signal which your computer can then read. Before you purchase an interface, just think about these 2 things. #1, what kind of connections does the interface have, and what kind of connections does your computer have? You're going to want to make sure the 2 are compatible so you can use them. #2, how many plugins does the interface have? If you're recording a whole live band, you're going to want a lot of plugins. I'd say at least 4, but more likely 8 or more. However, if you're just recording yourself 1 or 2 tracks at a time, something with 2 inputs is going to be plenty for you. #4, a MIDI controller. Now, MIDI controllers come in a variety of different shapes and forms. Some of them look like pianos. Some of them look like boxes with pads on them. And some of them look insane and are used for live performances. But they all fall under the same category. Just like a video game, you can assign each part of the MIDI controller to produce a different sound, sample, loop, or more. You have the ability to create your own song from the drums, melody, rhythm, or anything else, all via one controller board. Now, which MIDI controller you choose is totally up to you, your taste, and your budget. But you don't have to break your bank on this. My first MIDI controller was less than $100. It's more important to know your equipment well and how to use it rather than just buying the most expensive equipment. #5, the most important part of mixing and mastering, your monitors. Now, a little bit about monitors. When I say a pair of monitors is good, I don't mean that they produce sound that's always pleasing to my ears. What I mean when I say a pair of monitors is good is that they produce a flat response. Let me give you an example. Say you're mixing EDM music and you want a lot of bass in your sound. So you buy a pair of monitors that produce a lot of bass. Makes sense, right? No. When you're mixing that song, you're going to get a lot of bass frequencies in your mix, and you think it's good, but when you take that audio to any other speakers, your sound actually is lacking bass because those speakers were lying to you. This is why a flat response is so important. Monitors providing a flat response gives you the ability to make informed decisions on EQ, levels, and everything else involved in mixing. Number 6, microphones. 3 basic types of microphones are dynamic, condenser, and ribbon. Dynamic microphones are great for capturing loud sound signals, while condensers are going to be best for vocals and things with detail, but maybe not a lot of amplitude. Now, there are a lot of microphones on the market, so it's important to know 1, your budget, and 2, your needs. Practice with a certain microphone and understanding that microphone's polar patterns or how it receives sound is more important than just buying an expensive microphone. You got to know how to use it. Cables and stands. The main cable that you're going to want to know is an XLR cable. This cable is 3-pronged and provides the signal from your sound source to your computer. It provides a balanced signal, which means it reduces noise from hopping in the signal. A standard single wire cable is going to be probably everything you need for your needs. And don't forget stands. Unless you can record and play at the same time, which you can't, you're going to want a couple of these guys. If you noticed throughout the video, I've got a couple big panels back here. Those panels are for acoustic treatment. They're made out of cloth and fiberglass. They mitigate noise and unwanted echo in the recordings. However, they can be a bit pricey. If your budget allows, these will be great for your studio, whether it's home or somewhere else. However, noise mitigation can be done with a variety of different tools that you have at your house. These tools include blankets, towels, and other similar things. So mess around. Try building a little fort and recording your vocals in there. See how it sounds compared to your open room. Mess around with different setups. See what sound you like and what sound you don't like. Now, a flat rate response pair of studio monitors is going to give you the ability to make informed decisions on your sound. But you got to keep your audience in mind. They're going to be listening in their cars, on their headphones, out their phones, so you have to do the same. So you need to know what your mix sounds like off each one of those devices. If you can get a mix that you think sounds great off of every possible device that you can imagine, you know it's a good mix. There you have it, folks. This will get you started on your audio journey, but it's a long path from here. Stay up to date with our mixing tutorials as well as other audio related topics so you can improve your sound with us. See you next time.